Red Hat Pirates here to talk bans. After the World Championship Finals for Japan, they confirmed a ban or unban announcement stating it's coming March 16th. But before we get into that, make sure you smash that like button, get subscribed, and let me know in the comments who do you want to see banned or unbanned. Alright, so right off the rip, we're going to go straight to Dofi. So, could Dofi leader be banned? I know there's people calling for it. There would be a crazy shift in the meta after that because, like, you'd see like Bello Betty becoming like way more popular. Even stuff like PB Luffy, RP Luffy, some yellow decks. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna see a Dofi ban. I really don't. I think it's highly unlikely that the leader himself gets banned. I don't personally want to see a Dofi ban, and I don't think it's going to happen. I do think there's some cards in blue that could get banned. Definitely one in particular. I'm not going to say which one yet, but there is. I mean, one of these cards I think for sure is getting banned. Could be Pudding. Pudding's a very strong card. Jinbei. Jinbei's a candidate, but I don't think we see a Jinbei ban. I think Jinbei's a really good card, really strong card. Allows you to go wide, allows you to beat Lucci, allows you to do things in certain matchups. But if you take this card away from Dofi, I think it may kill the deck a bit too much. So I don't see this going anywhere. I don't think you technically want to kill the entire deck, and keeping Jinbei in it keeps it a strong deck. It doesn't kill it, but taking it out would kill it. The card that everybody wants to see banned, I think, would be Law. This card is extremely strong. It's extremely strong on pretty much anywhere it's played, late game or early game, because 4 is such a strong card number. It's where most of the blockers lie. It's a strong card in most decks. You got your Kikanojos and yellows. You got almost all your blockers, aside from a select few that were either newly printed or like Eustace Kid and stuff like that. Your queens, they get out of that range. But when going for game, I mean, this is pretty much. I'm going to push Rebecca back. I'm going to push Robin back. I'm going to push Nami back. You name it. Lucky Roo, etc. So, if with this card gone, I think Shanks becomes stronger with Lucky Roo, obviously, because Dofi's probably one of his harder matchups. So, without this card, though, Dofi may start to see a lot more losses into a Shanks because you're going to see a lot of 4 of Lucky Roos and Shanks decks. So I do think this is a strong candidate for ban. I think it's stronger than any of these. But the card that I actually do think will be banned in this out of blue, if there's a card banned, I think it's Teach. I think this card makes this card stronger, makes this card stronger, makes this card stronger. Teach makes the entire Dofi deck just stronger in general, and it only works in Dofi. Because if you ban Law, you're not just hitting Dofi, you're hitting Boa as well, because this card's very important in Boa. And I don't think you want to hurt Boa any, because she's right where she should be for the most part. She's a good deck that's not great. But Teach, by hitting Teach, you hurt Dofi's 5 Don turn. You hurt Dofi's 8 Don turn to where there's no more Grav Blade using Teach ability, putting Jinbei at top, and then going Jinbei into Law and bouncing the other thing back too. Like there's no more doing that. And I think this card is way too strong. On your 5 Don turn, it makes your Pudding play stronger because you're able to play Pudding down now and still utilize leader ability mixed with Teach to swing 7 while simultaneously possibly getting 2 things on board. As long as you set it up the turn before, like maybe you geckoed back a Jinbei, etc., and then this turn, now you're ready to go this into this. And yeah. So, like, this card, I think, is strongest candidate for ban. I think it's going to be banned. I do not see it sticking around. There's a lot of people also calling for some black ban. Rebecca Gecko arguments coming back up. I don't think either of these are get banned. Um, do I think they should be? I would say I think Gecko should probably have been leader locked from the beginning, but I think it's a little too late for that now, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. So, no, I don't. I don't think it's going to get banned. I don't even think it should be at this point. I just don't. I mean, it's really strong. It's good in BY. It's good in. I mean, it's obviously a staple in BY, a staple in Lucci. But at this point, you've already made Blackbeard. Blackbeard doesn't use it anymore, and Blackbeard beats both of those decks. So I don't think you ban it at this point. Rebecca, I think would be an even better candidate technically. Even though let's be honest, like Gecko makes this card stronger, but at the same time, this card makes the whole play broken. I think, but is it too late to matter as much? There's not many Lucci's really topping anything. I mean, they're there, but they're not as dominant as like this deck is. This needs something to happen. This something has to happen to this deck. This isn't as relevant. Although like I think blue and black combined make up for like 50% of the meta. So like maybe you should touch something in it. But what would that something be? I don't know that you touch this at this point. Kuzan is a candidate because of OP10. Teach becomes ridiculously strong with this card. I don't know that they're going to ban it before we get into it, but like they could, and they could just give us a different version of card and just like do away with this entirely. I could definitely see that happening because this is such a strong card. This makes Blackbeard so much stronger, and he's already like pretty good. I don't think he's like tier 0 like Dofi, but he's up there. He's like tier 1. And this pushes him over the top a bit. So not being able to remove this and then being able to use this to get a Burgess out is insane. It's insane value. The other black candidate I would say is Ice Age. I think this has always been a broken card and always been a problem. I don't like that you can pay 1 Don and -5 and then nearly pretty much take a 10 cost to a 5 cost and just make him so easy to get rid of. And typically in black, you're able to establish a body while simultaneously getting rid of it, whereas the other decks, like yellow, has to use like Rygo to get rid of bodies. So they're not establishing while at the same time getting rid of. In this, you're just lowering it by so much, it allows you just to establish and get rid of. Like, you have some things like that in other decks, but they all cost so much more than 1 Don. So it's so Ice Age. I don't like. I think Ice Age should have gone a long time ago as well. I don't think it will, but I think it should have. So that's kind of where I'm at with these. Like I'm telling you guys the cards that I think should be banned or potentially banned, or there's going to be eyes on them for potential bans, or in cards that I think actually will be. I don't think this will be, but potentially out of every card in black. It would be between, like, if we're wanting to touch Teach, because Teach is too strong, I think you touch Kuzan. If we're wanting to touch black in general, I think we just touch Ice Age and get rid of it. Gum Gum Giant. In purple. This is one of the best event cards in the game. But let's be honest, Plouffe isn't, like, going that hard in 09. Well, for us, at least. So, like, I'm not saying it's not a good card. It definitely keeps him up there, and it helps him be like that tier 1 deck. So I don't think they're going to touch it. I do think it's insanely strong and probably overpowered, and we're probably going to be really annoyed when Green Purple Luffy is out for us. But I don't think it's going to get touched. It could, potentially, because it is a strong card. Maybe it gets limited to 2, and maybe that's something they do to hinder Japan's, and then maybe we don't see that right away, or maybe we see it right away as well, because we typically follow their ban list, but like it doesn't have to start until OP11 or OP10 or however they want to do it. But I could see this card potentially being limited to 2, like they did with Radbeam. And then this card, I think, is getting flat out removed from the game. I don't think this is going to be there anymore because this only affects Dofi. So I think that's one of the ways you're going to lower Dofi just a bit. It's not gonna kill Dofi by any means. It's just gonna lower some of his possibilities, like we talked about. I don't think we're going to see much else touched. I think potentially we get a limit on this card and we get a flat out ban on this card, and then maybe they touch this card, but I don't know that they will. But this is getting banned. I 100% believe this will be banned. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments. Let me know if I missed any cards that you think will be banned or that should have at least made this list. I know some people were complaining about like Eustace Kid 8-drop and green, but none of that's getting touched. Let's be real. That's not getting touched. But yeah, peace out. See you next time.